Hello, hello, hello out there, world. How are y'all doing on this late Saturday night? It's actually technically Sunday morning over here in Texas. Kind of getting a little late crypto party here for no noise. That's what you're listening to. And my name is Z-Rex, coming at you live on technically September 2nd, but this will be like a September 1st-ish show. It's been a very busy weekend for me. My business here picks up when school starts back, and it's a restaurant, so I gotta kind of schedule how I'm gonna be able to do these daily. I'm playing around with that. It's not a problem in the earlier part of the week, but yeah, Friday, Saturdays, because I'd like to do them before it actually rolls over. But that's all good. I'm sure everybody is really excited. We're going to talk about some Bitcoin versus altcoins. We're also going to talk about this coin. Maybe you've heard of it. Dogecoin or Dogecoin. I'm not sure. I've always called it Doge. Most people I've heard call it Doge. But who knows? Whatever it is. The Shiba coin. And we'll also touch on markets, of course, as we always do, and check out the Bitcoin. All right, let's jump right into it. New information heightens the Satoshi Nakamoto mystery. Ooh. I've talked about this a little bit. Just generally the Satoshi Nakamoto and being hidden kind of thing. It's just kind of like a fun part. It almost makes it more intriguing for you to invest in it more. Because who is it? Who is it? It's like fun. I don't really think it matters all that much. This goes on to just kind of talk about... almost did it again. I kind of did do it again. But there we go. It was only a couple, like a few minutes in. So that's pretty good. So anyway, yeah, back to... who is Satoshi Nakamoto? And I guess, I'm not sure why they assume that he has hair like this and wears glasses like this. I guess maybe because of this dude right here. I don't know if y'all remember that in 2014. Probably most people don't remember it, but have read about it. Yeah, that was really funny. Just about as funny as probably this guy, Craig Wright, the Australian academic. Creating it. Yeah, I don't believe that either. But this goes through a couple people. That who could it be? It's just kind of fun. I don't know. This is interesting. They're interviewing some guy named Phil Wilson. And he says, apparently, Phil Jamie Wilson. Right. But he says, I initially was trying to help Craig. They're talking about part of the interview, and there's a two-part series on this that hasn't come out yet, the second part. But he says, you worked with Craig and Dave, and that's Craig Wright. And he says, I initially was trying to help Craig with his attempt in an electronic cash. I left his project in mid-May of '08 when it became apparent that it would never work. Then I started my own project in early June of '08 and got Dave and Craig to help me with it. That would be the original client. What everyone knows is Bitcoin evolved out of my project, not Craig's. Practically nothing from his code was left. Only the generic crypto functions were taken from his codebase, which was copy-pasted from elsewhere. The white paper he'd been working on from before '07 was effectively thrown out. It was junk, blah, blah, blah. So I don't know. Who's this guy? I don't really know that much about him. I will be looking into it just a little bit more. Ultimately, though, I don't think it really matters who these guys are. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know you could hold control on the wheel and it zooms in on the page. That's nifty. If you don't know, now you do know that as well. So, one person on this list that I have heard back in the day was this guy, Mr. Nick Szabo. He wrote... let's see. Oh, yeah, here it is. He wrote Dominic Frisby. And let's see. He is also a computer scientist, Mr. Nick Szabo. And there is I think it's like stylometry, and it's like not how you write, like where your letters are and where you cross the T and dot the I, but how you play, like how you use words and where you put, you know, was or is, or just how you construct sentences. It's a different, I don't know, apparently I've read things that it's more accurate than any other form of identification, which is scary because think about Google. Think about Google when you write an email on their Gmail platform. It saves your damn message, like every character you punch in, like constantly. Erase it, punch it in. And if that is true, then that's really insane info that they got. But I have heard, and the reason people say this from is that they believe that Szabo's writings are very similar to the Bitcoin white paper. Even before I heard that, I heard from other people in the beginning of this space, and they seem pretty confident, and no one else talked about it but Mr. Szabo himself. Maybe not, I don't know. It's kind of just fun to think about, I guess. Alright, Rakuten is about to buy a Bitcoin exchange for $2.5 million, pretty much. They are a Japanese e-commerce giant. I'm sure you've heard of them. They're like an Amazon kind of over there, or, you know, eBay-ish and stuff like that. They're just commerce, e-commerce in general. And so they're gonna buy everybody's Bitcoin on Friday. Now, I've never heard of this exchange, so it's probably not that big of a deal, but still pretty, still kind of funny. Whatever. The acquisition again is about 2.4 million, whatever. I just like to round things. With the planned acquisition, Rakuten aims to assist the exchange in enhancing its internal systems in an effort to meet with the regulators' requirements for obtaining licenses. So yeah, they apparently had lost the first quarter of this year. They lost around about $500,000. They started oh no, I'm sorry, that's a different part. The e-commerce, Rakuten actually started accepting Bitcoin back in 2015, which is pretty cool. And they use US website and Bitcoin payment processor, Bitnet. It's funny, like we can't have regulations or the SEC say anything on that, but we have like US based payment processors for Bitcoin. It's pretty funny. But it's just a big show, guys. It's really silly. Just got to be patient. Patience is very important in trading, life, and everything. Investing, if you want to call it that too. You're just long-term trading. Whatever. Or short-term investing. I don't know. The same kind of thing. Anyway. Yeah, so this is pretty cool. Buy an exchange. Everybody's getting in. They're getting bit by the crypto bug. That's why I've said on this channel before that I do think this winter will still be pretty crazy. Just not enough people really got in. Now they're just making everybody doubters. So then when the price does actually run up, FOMO will be even crazier. All right, Bitcoin versus altcoins. Which is the most usable for merchants? Let's see. Why does Litecoin like kind of hold his hands like that in the picture, like it's some wizard or something? They're gonna cast a spell on you. I just noticed that. So according to a survey published in June by the United Kingdom-based crypto exchange Creditcoin, 75% of American consumers want the option to use cryptocurrency to pay for items they purchase in stores. Obviously, we know that that's not very easy to do. I do accept Bitcoin at my business, but I have only had a few people ever use it. And it's immediately just converted into cash by the company. It just makes the paperwork and stuff like that easier because it's just US dollars that I'm receiving. Especially also with the lack of clarity regulatory wise. But anyway, you got this little graph here, consumers' attitude towards cryptocurrencies and cryptocurrencies acceptance. And this is of the 1,000 American customers who have some knowledge of Bitcoin. So it's only 1,000 people. Not like huge, but hey, 1,000 people is 1,000 people. 60% of them, of those who do not own any cryptocurrency, wish that they did. 44% say their biggest concern is difficulty purchasing crypto, which has been hard. They probably will hate it more when they try to sell it on that back end of that part. Is worse. 75% of consumers want the ability to use cryptocurrency for in-store purchases. And that would be great. And that's pretty hard to do. Most people don't take it. It's not integrated into lots of point-of-sale systems yet in the retail business, so that makes it a little bit more difficult. First Data kind of has that on lock. Most terminals that you ever swipe a card on are created by First Data. They are beast mode. That is changing. Square's getting a lot of that market too. We've talked about Square a lot. They're doing big things. Yeah, so let's move on here a little bit. Well, Bitcoin has an advantage insofar as the fact that vastly more people hold the original crypto than they do any other. However, numerous altcoins, particularly Bitcoin Cash, Dash, and Litecoin, are already faster and cheaper than Bitcoin. We know there's a lot of coins that are cheaper and faster, but they may lack the value of their older rival. They currently provide a more seamless retail experience. Kind of. I guess it's just faster. I don't know if seamless is correct, because it's not like the infrastructure is that much better. It's not better built with Bitcoin Cash or Litecoin at all. That's not on a point-of-sale system. So I just kind of wanted to bring that up. It's like it's still kind of tough. Bitcoin is like this most secure still, so that does have that. There are now about 28 million Bitcoin wallet addresses in existence and about 41 million ETH addresses. Some of those are from smart contracts and stuff like that too. But there's no specific data that breaks down this figure into contract and wallet addresses respectively. There is data on the number of addresses that have been active within the last 24 hours, and it shows that Bitcoin has more active wallets than any other coin. And here is a graph of that. So of course Ethereum's pretty close. I don't know if they sampled Ripple on this at all, but I'm kind of curious of why that one might not be on here. Maybe it's not, because 27,000 active addresses seems kind of low. But for the bottom two, I feel like there's got to be larger active addresses on other coins. Maybe not though. So BTC is by far the dominant cryptocurrency for transaction. This is likely due to the maturity of BTC, its brand recognition, and the momentum of Bitcoin. Also, it's a way that you have to cash out in a lot of things. It's already kind of the US dollar of crypto, right? So it's a way to get in and out of all these altcoins. Of course, you could use Tether or other stuff too, but most people are using Bitcoin because it is kind of already been marked as digital gold. So, but yeah, this is a pretty cool article. Again, I always post all the articles in the bottom under sources in the description on the videos, so you can go check it out, read the full thing, because of course I'm not going to read all of that on here. But yeah, this is a pretty good article. I highly recommend you go read it. As you can see, to read the whole thing, it's about 20 minutes. So, and on that note too, I just wanted to add a couple things. Hardly anyone is using Bitcoin Cash, as 67 wallets control 56% of the supply. So on that article we just talked about, kind of segueing into this, it's like, well, Bitcoin Cash is 27,000. It's in the top 5 on their data apparently. I mean, that just seems, I don't know, it seems pretty wild to me. But one thing I did want to point out in this one is Bitcoin Cash payments slumped to about 4 million from about 10 million. Bitcoin payments totaled 60 million, down from about 412 million. So that's pretty much the same type fall of you know, from 400-ish to 60 to 50, 60-ish, and 10 to 4. Like, that's losing a lot of momentum. So it wasn't like unique, like they're trying to smash on Bitcoin Cash as most people do, but that's okay. It's like Ripple now. It's the new Ripple. It's fun to hate. Bitcoin's dominance, though, is showing resilience. We've been talking about that a lot. I do timestamp all the videos, so you can go like browse some of the things where we specifically talked about Bitcoin and the dominance, or Bitcoin's dominance, and how it's because this rally has to be started by Bitcoin. It's not going to be started by anything else. Bitcoin Cash won't start it, Ripple won't start it, Ethereum won't start it, Litecoin won't start it. If Bitcoin doesn't follow, none of them will keep going. So if smart money is in this and analyzing that, they also know that too. So why not ride Bitcoin up to wait for confirmation of this market to turn around, and then altcoins will just keep bleeding off, and then once it starts going up, you take, on liquidation breaks, you take money off the table and then put it into alts, and those will naturally rise too. A rising tide lifts all boats, right? Bitcoin obviously being that tide. All right, let's go to a chart that I made. This is on the Twitter and stuff. I'm trying to be more active on it. I'm not very active on it. I posted this Doge chart on the 31st. Everyone was talking about Doge, and I was like, man, you know, Doge does like to pump, and then Bitcoin likes to pump. So I marked all these spots on here and kind of measured, and it looked to be about a 20% average on every time Doge had a crazy pump. Over the next 2 weeks, Bitcoin would go up about 20%. So that seems to be holding fairly well thus far with this pop. If that was the case, let's just figure that out real fast. 20% from where we were, kind of, let's call it like 7,000, I don't know, 30 right there. So if it was 20%, that puts us right back up here. How funny, to these highs, right into our red box zone, even at the lowest end, which was about 12 or 13%. So it's literally, Doge is telling us our target is coming up into this red box. We've been waiting since back here and talking about it for 2 weeks now, that our target was mid 7,000s, and that's why you have to be patient, guys. You can't rush trades and be like, this isn't working enough, I'm not getting rich fast enough. That's just not how trading is. This line we drew on here, pretty much like right when it started this, and said this is the trend now, this is the momentum, it needs to keep up with this momentum. And this is on a daily. You can see the 21's about to come up over the 55, and we're sandwiching all of them kind of to this trend line cross. As you can see, we drew this trend line a long time ago, and we talked about it in a video about a week ago, that trend line crosses are very important. As you can see right here, I mean, almost to the damn T, and I haven't adjusted these or anything, almost to the damn T. 72.70, that's almost exactly where this crosses. Okay, so that's pretty interesting. If we get a close above this by tomorrow, that's going to be pretty bullish. I think we definitely will run up into the higher sevens. We have been targeting the mid sevens. So, and as I told you, I took part of my long off at 71 on my paper account, you know, because I only paper trade. It's the best. Wink. And then you know, because I always say you can get back in, but you need to manage profits. This could have easily kept rolling over, but on the hourly, you did have a nice bounce off your 21 exponential. It's been riding it since about 7,000, so that was good confirmation. And we just been above this trend line. I was saying, because you don't know. Let's say you're long here, and I didn't take this off, and then it did break this, but there was a continuation move. So it invalidated this, tricks everybody, but then actually didn't. It did in this instance, like the bulls came in hard. But let's say it did just continue to the downside right here. You don't know that when price is above. Whoa, that was a laggy circle. You don't know that when price is up here, right? It could have easily done this. So if you don't manage it all, then maybe if you waited for good confirmation, you didn't even get in till, you know, maybe this candle, which actually puts you in to this range, right? So you didn't have that much to play with if you're being really conservative. So why not just take off a little bit, not all, maybe take half or whatever, and then, or all of it and wait, because the market moves in waves, in sine waves. Not exact, right? Oh my gosh, the lag on this tool is not very good. You know, it kind of moves in waves, right? The market just doesn't go up or down. It's not linear. So, you know, keep that in mind. Managing winners, I think, is the trick to making money. It's not, you don't make any money until you close a trade. Just like you don't take a loss until you close the trade, right? So here we are. Obviously, there's some resistance coming up and forming around 22 or 72.50. You know, we talked about that being pretty formidable resistance, and closing above that would be very bullish on a daily. Let's look at the internals. Oops. They're looking pretty damn strong on the 4 hour. Let's start at the daily. Still okay. They are strong for sure. Definitely strong. How about on the 3 day? 3 day is semi-neutral. The 3 day probably won't get strong until we can get back up into this red box. It just needs that much data, really, to go there. The 850 is okay. If tomorrow ends up coming up and testing right between, you know, where it is now in this red exponential, which is the longest term, I think that's extremely likely, and then this will look a little bit better. But right now it is showing slight weakness, but that is only on the 850. The daily looks good, the 4 hour looks good, except for you do have a little bit of divergence right here on the RSI, right here, and you do have a little bit of divergence on the DMI right here. All right, so that is something to note. It is only, you know, not even $200, so that's not that big of a deal yet. It is something to keep an eye on, though. If we lose this momentum below that 25-26 mark that we like to see on the DMI, which shows strength. All right, let's go to Ethereum. Let's see if they're playing ball. Ooh, look at that. Ethereum finally broke out. Yeah, I did miss the video yesterday. Sorry about that. Just been busy. So we did break out and did a nice little head fake down to about this blue support area. Got bought up quick. Made a little hammer right up against the bottom and tops of these bodies. This is right here. Let me go ahead and put this on big screen. There you go. Which is right here. That is a pretty good sign. That means we've got some nice support at about 290. All right. So internals look pretty decent, especially if we start moving up to the upside here, which does look pretty likely. Let's see, you could do something. We talk about using this tool as kind of making a visual for your risk to reward. Remember, I like personally at least 2.5 to 1. Really 3 to 1 is the best, because then you don't have, maybe sometimes you don't want to wait all the way to 3, but it gives you extra cushion, because you don't really want to take stuff off. If you're doing only 1 to 1, you almost have to wait for that 1, or it becomes not worth it in the long term. Anyway, so let's say you want to risk about to the 55 EMA here, which is a good spot. It's about 3.5%, or about $11, and you're over here looking at targeting, I would say, about the tops of these ranges where this business was done, which is about $26. All right, so you're doing about 3.5 to 8.5, so that's good. That's a good ratio. And you just wait and see what happens. And then you don't think about it. That's what trading. Instead of watching this all the time, you're gonna, if it goes down a little bit to like right here, and you're like, oh shit, I'm down, and then you close it, and then it'll likely go up in here. It'll just trick you. This is the only thing you can control. Order entry. And when you exit. Alright. Daily looks a lot better on Ethereum now. Let's see if we can get the green above, the bulls above the bears, and an RSI above 50 on ETH would be awesome. It's finally showing a little life, guys. ETH has been a laggard for a while. The rainbows and unicorn Vitalik love is not helping it out right now. Again, Litecoin is showing some great strength right now. We've been talking about it for about a week. When it got up to, like, kind of right here, it was already showing some nice divergences in most of the underlyings, in the oscillators, I'm sorry. And you saw the volatility creeping down hardcore, like, right after this day. This was a really good capitulation day. We talked about it on Ethereum. We talked about it on Litecoin. I think Ripple had one. There are a lot of coins that put in these nice hammer formations with the volume profile that you would need to see to confirm that. Because just because a candle looks like this, that does not mean anything, okay? It's not just about the looks of the candle. There's other parameters that need to be added to that. You can't just say, you know, and people are crazy nowadays. They're like, well, this is definitely a head and shoulders right here. You see? Look at that. It's inverted head and shoulders. I know it is. And you're like, whoa, dude. You're just getting out of control, man. Just chill out. So here we are coming up testing. This is what we've been targeting, this mid part of the channel, which is about 70 bucks. We are getting really close to there, especially after today. So that's pretty nice. Let's look on the 850. 850 looks nice and strong. Let's see if we can get above 70 on the RSI. That would be really good confirmation for a good little boost move, kind of maybe a little FOMO move. I will use those FOMO moves to close some of my paper positions. Those are good for that because you can get good prices, all right? It's nice and liquid when that goes down. As you can see on the 1 hour, we have had lots of divergence on the DMI. So do be aware of that. We need to get back up above these. Let's look at it on the 4 hour. Yeah, so that's putting in some divergence. This could just be getting ready, though, to have like a bigger little pop move. It is kind of setting up for that, but we would have to see that DMI bulls get over 41, 42. I'm actually going to go ahead and set an alert for that. You're like, what? You can do that on the alert itself? But yeah, you totally can. But you need to go in here and it's going to default to a couple things. It might not do exactly what you want. Oh, oops. I messed that up. So, okay, watch it. I'm going to show y'all again. So I'm going to go here, right click, do alert at the 41 area, but I'm going to go to DMI, DI positive. I don't want ADX as I don't use that. And I want it to be crossing up the value that I highlighted, which is about 41. Let's make it 42 just to give us a nice cushion there. And once per bar close to make sure it checks every bar for that condition. And boom, there you go. Then I'll know that this momentum is continuing in Litecoin, and you can just wait. Alerts are beautiful. And TradingView is really good with them. Bitcoin checkers is a pretty good one too. All right, so Litecoin looking nice. Let's see if it gets some follow through. Looks like resistance on kind of the pumping on DMI is around this 40 area though, so that is something that's very notable. So do be careful around these areas. Don't be FOMOing yet, okay? That might be dangerous. Let's go to the rips. Ripple, bro. Oh, look at that. They almost got me. Oh, man. Ripple is just chopping away. Still being neutral as hell. The bulls do have slight control right now. As you can see, they are above down here on the DMI. That's the only oscillator that's giving us that. You do kind of have a little basic trend line right there. Let's see where they cross at if you drew one from here also. Oh, how funny. Look at that. See? So you got that cross and kind of this one, and it's where it's been dinging off of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, and you can kind of count this as 7 with a fake out. So let's just say 6. We'll be conservative. 6 times it's getting rejected at 35 cents. So I am going to put me an alert here right above 35 cents on Ripple. That will be a good sign that it is getting ready to break out. And you could probably look for a target at least to the 55 EMA. It looks like this right here was a 618 retracement. Let's measure that from that sell-off. Yeah, it was really close. It's about 38 cents. And that's measuring from this sell-off. If you measure it from back here, this little pump, whoops, down to about here. I kind of just split that wick. Then you're up at around 40 cents, which is funny because that's about where a lot of support was. So we could probably run up into that as resistance. We have been talking about this too. It's just been going sideways. It's been a pretty safe entry and very stable. With my stop is set at about 30 cents. All right. Let's go to EOS. Larimer to the third power. Oh, that one's on the top. I usually don't do that one. 650. Went to 681 earlier. Let's go to the 4 hour, get a little bit more details. Oh, guys, look at that. Tapped the top of the channel, which also coincides with the longest term moving average to the T. Y'all, that's pretty good. You usually don't see it so clean. And you'll know this channel's been on there a long time. So this is going to be formidable resistance, obviously, and you have 1, 2, 3, 3.5 good attempts at it with all this consolidation. We'll just call it 4 good attempts of holding it, and then a massive breakdown, and now we're coming up to test that again. There's definitely going to be a tough time getting through about $7. All right, and as you can see too on the DMI and the RSI showing that in these latter moves, it is losing some momentum fast on EOS. So be a little cautious, most definitely. All right, kind of look for price. Like now, you probably missed a long boat. I would not get long this. I was loading up in my paper account at around 4 and mid 4s in this consolidation. We talked about it. Look, my alert's still over here that didn't get closed. I was down here at this wick because this wick just got bought up real nice. And so now that we're tapping this, lots of resistance. It's not really good to play this from the long side anymore. Like, I'm certainly not doing it. You can do whatever you want, of course. I'm not your financial advisor. You should pay for one. I'm just some YouTube jackass. But, you know, I'm going to wait for confirmation. I would like to see a daily close really above like 750 or above at least 725 would be really nice. So right now, EOS made a really big move. We talked about it a lot down here in this consolidation. It played out almost perfectly to the T. It was great. All right, let's go to ETC, see if it's moved yet. Interesting, it has not. I just kind of thought of that on the fly because I'm like, man, ETC likes to move. But it has not moved yet. And this is a dollar pair. Very neutral still on the daily. For the last week, it's been incredibly neutral. There is decent volume down here too in this consolidation. All right, so guys, this is looking kind of this is kind of nice. I like this setup here. Let me just give you an idea of kind of what I'm looking at going to be doing here after this show. Is something about like, man, yeah, see, because you can just get let me go auto, and can't see that. Let's go about there into these. So that's, I'm gonna kind of set it up this way, targeting this resistance, this trend line, the longest term, the second longest term, and right above the 55, and about a 7% risk for, you know, about 26% target. So even if it only goes a third of the way, I'm at 1-to-1 still on the risk to reward. So that's very acceptable for me, especially in crypto. If you set these up and you keep following your plan like this, you will do okay in the long run. But the problem is most people won't do it. It's crazy. I don't know how many times I've not done it. I still do it too. It's insane, man. So it's like, here is the line in the sand. Here's like for real the line in the sand, and this is like, what the fuck are you still holding this for, right? That's what this is. But people will still do it, myself included. I've done it a lot. You just got to do it less and less over time, and I know it's tough. Some people it's not, though. They can just get it. You know, I'm not the most disciplined person. So, you know, everybody's different, too. That's part of trading. You can say maybe your risk is higher. You want to risk it all the way down to here, but your target's like way up here or something. You know, you got to learn your kind of personality for the trading type, too. And that's why I'm just showing you what I like to do. Maybe you can learn from it, maybe you can't. But anyways, kind of it. And price will get below this, and then, you know, people will just be like, nah, dude, it's cool. And then it'll kind of do like that, and you see, like, I told you, and then it'll be like, oh, shit, and then it'll break down again. So, but just don't even get your emotional capital is important. Do not even let your brain get into this scenario. It's just not worth it, man. Just cut it off. You're wrong. Who cares? Remove ego from trading. I know it's super tough because you want to be like, yo, I told you, I called that, man. I told you it's going to be that way. I told you. You know, everybody wants to be right. I'm not sure. I like glitched out trading view. I guess I'm going to have to go back to that was weird. Never done that before. All right. Let's erase that and that. All right. So just a little food for thought on management. It's all about risk management, guys. Opportunity is infinite. Capital is finite. And that goes with your emotional capital as well as your actual real cash money or crypto money, whatever you want to call it. All right, 850. Let's see. Just on a quick glance, neutral on the 850. Let's put our horizontal on here. Looking okay on the RSI. Not against that. Volatility's low. So it is kind of, let's look at the 4 hour. It's slightly defaulted to bullish on the internals. It looks like it probably is going to have a pop pretty soon, if I had to guess. All right. That's ETC, Ethereum Classic, the bomb. Speaking of ETC, what about some ADA, some Cardano? Actually, no, let's back up 1 second and look at ETC on a Bitcoin pair, because I think that will be relevant right now. Where is a good one? There we go, Bittrex. Oh, look at that. Bittrex already had a support line before I even started doing this show drawn, it looks like. Oh, look at that. And we're flirting right around it. And look how many times it's dipped below it. 1, 2, 3, 4, and here we are, 5. Okay, so I really like this chart now. This is going to be one of my probably favorite charts at the moment. And let's see what that does right there. And that puts us at, if you wanted to be real conservative, maybe 20,000 or 200,000 Satoshis closing above that on a daily would confirm it turning around, at least for a run up into, you know, maybe mid, like quarter mil Satoshi. So that's set up pretty nicely. All right, y'all know you want to look at it, Dogecoin. Oh my gosh, Dogecoin. I feel so retarded on this one because I played this one. Because, I mean, look at this basing. And especially Dogecoin, you can, like, chart on a long time. Wrong time. See, look at that. And so whenever it gets kind of below 40, it's kind of like, ooh, shit, I need to look at that. It's only been down here in the teens, high teens a couple of times. And they were both very amazing buys. And so I was doing this. I played this one on paper trading. I played this one and I played this one. And I don't know why I was looking at it, but I just didn't play it. You know, it's just so hard to look at everything and organize all your thoughts, but that's okay. Because as that chart on Twitter I showed, when this happens, the crypto market follows at least for a couple of weeks. So that would be nice if that follows through this time. It's, and I think, when was that chart? Here, we'll pull it up real quick. I think since, yeah, last year. I mean, you have a couple small ones here and here and here, but I only kind of counted. Obviously, they were true, too, because it kept going up. And then it kept going up. And then right here, it kept going up. I mean, and then right here, it didn't, though. There was a little tiny spike down here. And it just rolled over. So, but this was after an very, very extended up move. You know, like a 5x or so. So, but I still put it in there because, you know, you need to see it. I did not put this one in here, though, this big pump, because that actually led to higher prices. So I didn't get all of them, but I got the main ones. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 out of about 11, 10 or 11. So that's pretty good odds, and it looks like this one's playing out, too. I made this a few days ago, so looks like it's playing out now because we are already up, you know, right around in this area. So, way to go, Dogecoin. Dogecoin's been around a long time. Don't sleep on the Doge. Alright. Well, let me go back. I totally skipped this. Wow, just got out of order. It's been a long day, guys. Alright, so we usually start with the coin cap and market. Wait, coin market cap in view. So, here it is. We are at about 238 billion. That's great. That's great, y'all. Love to see that. We are getting back over. We talked about we can't dip much below 220, 225. We need to close above that. And we did. We held up through it. Let me zoom in just a tad. So we held up through it. We're on a nice uptrend. Volume is slowly increasing. If you can see it right here in the bottom right of the chart. It's flat to small increases. We need to see this get going a little bit more, though. Something like, you know, just like a little bit better trajectory. I would like to see this increase. If not, that's okay. You know, no one knows. You just got to be prepared. Bitcoin dominance slipping a little bit, slipping about 1% in the last couple days. That's okay. Alts have been showing some love. Buddy mine was talking about, you know, alts are showing that. That's one of the big differences of 2014 bear market. I haven't thought that we've been in a 2014 bear market at all. I've been saying that we need to wait until August and most of this month go by. And, you know, probably about mid this month, we'll be able to have a really good idea on the rest of the year is kind of what I'm watching for. Because right now we're on the trajectories that we're on for Bitcoin and versus 2014 and 13, and you know those are like that's kind of the same. Like 14 was just the sell-off from the late part of the 13 run-up, but 13 inside of it, which a lot of people don't talk about, this 2013 in the summer had a sell-off hardcore, and then the end of that year Bitcoin ended up going, you know what, we're just gonna pull it up while I'm talking about it because I feel like a lot of people don't like remember this, or maybe they just didn't look. Sorry, this is gonna be kind of a busy chart. I'm gonna go back to just the area that we need to talk about anyway. All right, here we go. Oh no, don't do that. All right, so yeah, if you see this beginning of 13, bam, huge run up, right? I mean, you're talking about 2,000% from January to April, right? And then it dumped 80% in the middle of the year, and then by the end of the year in September, it sold off hard, went sideways, and then September went hardcore sideways at highs, had a fake dump out, big hammer, broke out to the highs in October, and from October just to November, all right, it did another 756%, okay? So this seems more like the market to me now than it does over here. Now, and if you put fractals, they actually look almost exactly the same until right before this happens or right before the upward movement happens. So that's why I've been kind of saying we just have to wait until mid-September to get a really good idea on which is coming up, guys. We are already almost there. Time's a-flying. So you won't have to wait much longer. All right, let me put it back on to the regular chart here on Bitfinex. All right, zoom in a little. Okay, so if we can get out of there, that'll be real nice. If we can close above 250, obviously that's going to be our next target on the global market cap. And if we can do that and kind of hold maybe and just do a little sideways action, let the alts kind of catch up, that would be extremely bullish. But don't get too excited yet. We need to make sure. Look, how many times have we touched this damn trend line right here? Okay, let's make it brighter, because let's just make it red too, because like, don't forget, this guy's right here. Okay, don't forget, he's there. 1, 2, 3, and here we are 4 times. All right, so neutral, neutral, 3-day. Daily's bullish though on Bitcoin, don't forget. 4-hour looking pretty damn healthy. I would like to see also, we got that top trend line. I'd also like to see this kind of keep up too, right? Kind of see that. I don't like to get my charts too dirty, so I'm not gonna draw that on there. But as you can see, we do have slight negative divergence on RSI and DMI right here. That makes sense though, just naturally coming up into this trend line once more again, that we would get that. But price is over all of the moving averages right now. And if it can close on a daily above 6,400, then price on the daily will be above. And that hasn't happened since this little fake out. But it would likely induce something like this, a FOMO pump. We've been talking about it the last few days. I don't think we've seen that yet. We need kind of like, oh shit, it's good, I told you, woo, 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 party, Bitcoin parties. We need the memes, we need all that fun stuff to just go on every damn every damn Telegram, Discord, etc. All right, guys, well, I'm gonna take off and get to bed. Well, probably not. I'll probably do a little bit of editing on this and then finish it tomorrow. So the timestamps probably won't be up till later. Mañana. But just kind of remember, final thoughts. It's the same as the last video. Up this trend line. Let's keep it going. Let's see if we can get that FOMO past this trend line that has the upper one, the red one, that has been formidable resistance 3 times already, and almost 4. You could kind of count this one right here, but let's just call it 3 good ones. And here's our 4th, so we're on number 4. All right, if you liked any of this or have any questions, please join over at Telegram. It's really easy. It's just at No Noise Chat. You can ask questions in there or anything along those lines, or tweet me. It's at no noise everything. At No Noise Research on everything. Sorry, I'm a little bit tired. And that's it, guys. I'll be signing off right now. We won't be looking at equities until tomorrow because it's the weekend. They're not open. But that's how I'm gonna kind of schedule it, to where Sunday will be equity, preview for the week and ideas, and then we'll follow it up until Friday, and then Saturday I won't do them. So I might not do shows on Friday or Saturday, though. I'm still trying to figure out some scheduling for that, so I don't have to do these super, super late. All right, ladies and gentlemen, keep an eye on those levels. It's looking fairly good. Happy trading. Again, No Noise Research. With me, your host, Z-Rex, signing off. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.